Hi YouTube, I'm Robin, pronouns she, they. I just thought I'd talk about applying for a gender recognition certificate, uh, whether I should or indeed have I done it, um, and the overview. This is for the UK. I just wanted to talk about what it can give you and give you some ideas. So, apply for a gender recognition certificate if you want your affirmed gender, sometimes called an acquired gender, to be legally recognised in the UK. This is what you can do if you've got one. So you can update your birth certificate or adoption certificate if that applies to you. You can get married in your affirmed gender or form a civil partnership in it. You can update your marriage or civil partnership certificate, and you can have your affirmed gender on your death certificate when you die. So those all might be important to some people. In my case, this particular one of updating your marriage or civil partnership certificate, well, I'm married. That could be done, and that piece of paper would then reflect who I am rather than representing that I'm male. It will not change your legal status as a father or mother of a child. That's fine. I continue to identify as the father of my child, so it's fine for me. You do not need a certificate to update your driving license, update your passport, or update your medical records, employment records, or your bank account. So really, there isn't much that a gender recognition certificate does for you. And especially you can't, there's no recognition for non-binary at the moment. So they're really, for me, I don't really see the point. I know who I am. It doesn't matter what my birth certificate says. It doesn't matter what my death certificate will say when I've died. I'm certainly never going to see it. Yes, I could pay the £5 to apply and all that. The application is, I think, extremely onerous. Because of the requirements. The requirements, if you want to do that, just have a look at this lot. So downloading and filling in a statutory declaration. That's kind of all fine, but you've got to, I think you need to have a notary witness you signing it, and that, I think, is a service that costs £5 or £10 from a solicitor or somebody else who has the required level of authority to do that. Yes, it can be done. Obviously, getting an original of your birth certificate is easy if you need it. And change of name documents. The only time you wouldn't need your deed poll or your statutory declaration, however you've changed your name, the only time you wouldn't need that is if you hadn't changed your name and your name was something like mine is now, Robin that can be applied to either male or female gender. My original name wasn't something that my dead name, as some people would call it, is not something that a woman could really use. And here's what you need, and this is where I have a problem with this system. You need medical reports and evidence that you've lived in your affirmed gender for the last 2 years. I have all that. The 2 reports need to come from specific people registered with the General Medical Council, I assume, medical doctors or psychologists. I do have those. This here, at least one of the 2 reports needs to include details of any gender affirming treatment you've had or plan to have. This is where it starts to go, for me, a little bit off the rails. If you've been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, that should be enough. It shouldn't be necessary to prove that you've had surgical treatments or plan to have surgical treatments or non-surgical treatments. And it shouldn't be necessary to declare why you haven't had any treatments if you've decided not to. The diagnosis that it specifies is gender dysphoria. The only way to get a diagnosis of gender dysphoria is if you want surgery, because if you don't want surgery, the diagnosis you will get is gender incongruence. I've been diagnosed with gender incongruence 4 times. I've been diagnosed with gender dysphoria twice. I've only been diagnosed with gender dysphoria because I'm looking for bottom surgery. That should not be necessary for this, but this is what is looked for: gender dysphoria. You have to provide evidence of living in your gender. I mean, I kind of guess I don't really have a problem with that as such. I think 2 years is a very long time for it to be necessary. I can absolutely provide those. I've changed my name. I haven't changed my gender mark on my driving license and my passport. I mean, yes, I've got supermarket loyalty cards, certainly. I've got an expired rail card that bears my name. It's a 2 together one, so that would involve details of my wife as well. I've got bank statements. I do have letters from doctors and I've got some receipts from dentists, and of course my employer is myself in my case. I'm self-employed, but the company has the name that I currently use since records. Pay slips, P60s, P45s, I've got all that. Tax, council tax. Yeah, I've got that. I mean, but there's a lot of it. Why do they need all of this stuff? And then if you provide all of that evidence, it's still up to some sort of panel to decide whether you qualify for this. And I really have an extreme disagreement about this. It doesn't allow you to use gendered facilities. The allowance that you have to use gendered facilities is simply being a transgender person, and being in the process of going through transition or intending to go through transition. Although I don't see why someone would want to do it then if they hadn't actually transitioned or started that process. At the start of my process, I used the gents' toilet facilities for a while until I decided, well, this is ridiculous for me to go into a gents while wearing a dress and makeup and all the rest of it. Then I decided, okay, it's time now to switch to the ladies. So it's, for me, there's not much there that makes it useful. So in my case, at this time, I don't agree with this process. I don't really care about what my birth certificate, my marriage certificate, and my death certificate say. I am married. I don't care that my legal gender is male. Some organisations have me down as male and some have me down as female. I've got a female gender marker in the NHS, so I'll be invited automatically for breast screening and stuff like that, which I do need. But I'm not going to put myself through this process. Being trans is hard enough without having to do all this. Hopefully this has helped in some way, shape or form. If you happen to see this when it goes live, it'll be going live on Christmas Day, UK time, in 2023. I wish you a good Christmas, happy holidays, whatever you call it. And I will see you again for another discussion another time. Please feel free to contact me in the comments and say whether you think this is a good system. Perhaps you disagree with me, or perhaps you think there are differences in terms of the way I've presented it. I may certainly have got something wrong in this. I don't think I have. But I hope you found this helpful. Have a good next year.